Hi, I'm Tina O'Dwyer, founder of the Tourism Space. I wanted to tell you a little bit about me and my story. I live in North Clare on the west of Ireland. It's an extremely beautiful place for anybody who knows it. I fell in love with it many years ago and spent a lot of my time visiting whenever I could at weekends and on holidays. And then about 10 years ago I decided to take the plunge and move here and start operating my life from here, which was a wonderful decision. Now it's a very visited place. It's popular with tourists, and it's probably no surprise that I fell into tourism at that time. And from the instant I started working in tourism, I was captivated by it and very inspired by the people that I met within that. And I worked away really well for 5 or 6 years, knew a good bit of success, was very involved in creative and very rewarding projects. And then one week, without any notice, a contract that I had been working on abruptly finished. And that came as a big surprise to me, and I realised at the time, it was a shock, and I realised that I really had no idea what I was going to do next. And that was kind of a difficult moment for me. I realised I had been so busy concentrating on doing a good job that I hadn't ever looked up to see where I was going. So I decided to meet with a career coach, and at our first meeting over a cup of coffee, the first question he asked me was, "So what do you do?" And my answer was, at the time, I used to work in business, but now I work in tourism. And I had given that answer, I'm sure, several times before, but when I heard myself say it on that day, it sounded completely ridiculous to me. And I found myself saying to myself, why is that? Why is tourism different to business? Surely tourism is about business as well. You've been working with businesses for 5 or 6 years. Why are you thinking tourism is different to business? So I really gave that a lot of thought at the time, and I realised the best way that I was able to sum it up for myself was that the business of tourism is also the business of place. And when it comes to place, there's a whole lot of other things that have to be taken into consideration besides business. Things like the community, things like the town, the village or the city, things like culture, heritage, the environment, protecting the landscapes, protecting the seascapes. And there's a whole lot of people who are also involved in those things in this business of place. And some of those are not involved in tourism at all, and some of them aren't even in business. So there's a lot of interdependencies there. But even still, even though acknowledging all those different aspects of the business of place, when you think about the tourism industry and you peel away all those layers, still at the very centre of this industry is a business that has the same commercial considerations as businesses in any other industry. It's about transaction between the supplier and the consumer, and it's about numbers of customers, revenue, margin and profit. And so I thought a lot about the owner or manager who's working in those businesses at that point of transaction, dealing with all the normal challenges of businesses and then all the other layers that sit around the tourism industry. And there's a struggle in that, and this struggle led me to think about the idea of high performance tourism. What is high performance in this environment? And I've come to define high performance tourism as a process that allows people live in cared for places, to practice tourism for the heart, to consistently delight their visitors, and at the same time proudly build profitable businesses. So I had to invest in getting clear on a positive future for myself in tourism. I'd like to help others do the same. As I went through my own process, I realised there were two sides I had to work through. On the one hand, there was building up my skills and knowledge, but on the other hand, there was the need to build up my clarity, my confidence in my vision, my motivation and my self-belief. Maybe it's like that for you. I know it's certainly like that for quite a few people that I work with. So that's how the tourism space came about. I would like to hold a space that puts tourism entrepreneurs and commercial managers at its very centre. Our aim is that over the long term this will become a resource portal for tourism professionals that on the one hand helps them build their skills and knowledge, and on the other also helps them to build their clarity, confidence and belief. In that way, I hope to be able to help them build businesses and destinations that last. We'd love you to join us on the journey. You can connect with us on our website, on the weekly blog, on all the social media channels, or by coming to any of our live events. I look forward to connecting with you in the future.